Dennis Quaid kind of has the easy performance, though, you know?
Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, so
Margaret Qualley has an easy performance, kind of too. Like, except for when that whole. Okay, you know what? You're right.
welcome back to another episode of the Soundscape Sessions. I am joined once again by my co-host Adam.
What's up? I'm Adam. Normally I say something clever and witty, but this movie fucked me up. And you didn't say that your name was Travis. That's Travis.
Oh, I thought I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, well, I am Travis.
People gotta know who you are, you know?
I'm also joined by my other co-host Malcolm.
That's me.
How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing great, actually. I love this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He does like dinosaurs getting messed up by people, right?
This movie finds new and interesting ways to make people feel uncomfortable, and I love it. I'm totally here for it.
100%. F this movie in the best way.
No, I agree 100%. And I'm so glad that I didn't look more into what this movie was before we watched it. Because I was pleasantly surprised of like all the crazy shit.
I don't think we've actually said what this movie is yet.
Yeah, sorry. Today we're talking about
the thumbnail, you know.
Today we're talking about the movie The Substance.
You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
There's been a slight misuse of the substance.
With Demi Moore. And like I was just saying, I'm really glad that I didn't look too much into it. I feel like if I was to suggest this movie to someone too, I would say the same thing. I'd be like, don't look too much into the movie and just watch it.
I think there's a lot of what's the word for it? It's saying a lot about the female body and stuff, commentary.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
100%.
things like that, and
how society views the female
absolutely.
body.
And just, oh my goodness.
Especially Hollywood.
What an emotional ride, too. Like, I've never been so proud to look like me. You know what I mean? And I usually am like that always, but man, like, what an emotional ride. I feel so bad for Demi Moore at times. I hate Margaret Qualley at times.
Okay.
All of it, you know?
I love
them all, though.
I 100% think it deserves the Oscar it got. And
best
I'm
hair
actually,
and makeup, I believe.
Well, I mean that's amazing too, but I think she should have won. I don't know, like
Best actress.
Yeah, she was really, really good in this movie, man. Like really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm still coming down. You know?
Oh, 100%.
Because like we just watched it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm just like coming down from that whole thing because. I mean, we'll get into it, but like, if there was like a trajectory for this movie, it like starts out here, and then we're like slowly hill, and then it gets to a point where it slowly like climbs quicker than you want.
Yeah,
and then it just,
yeah,
and then you're just like, okay, buckle up, buckaroos, you know?
Buckle up, buckaroos. Yeah.
I just want to say, watching you guys watch this movie was almost as good as watching the movie.
Yeah. No broken bones.
So. There was definitely times where me and Adam both were like, okay, that's enough. Just go over here, look away from the screen for a little minute there.
One time I turned around, one time he turned around, and then I forget which scene it was, but we both turned around, and we were just like, we looked at each other too, and we were just like, nah, I just think we're just going to take a quick fiber over there. Yeah. And then Malcolm was just like, oh, come on, guys, where you going? You know? Where you going?
You're missing the best part.
Yeah. I think that's like a funny thing about this movie when you watch it is like, because it goes over a lot of like different phobias, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's like watching it with like three different people, it like shows you everybody's like phobia, right? And like even if you like, because again, if you have a phobia of needles, if you have a phobia of blood, if you have a phobia of like,
I just want to clarify one thing you're talking about. It's not just like phobias in general, but like body part phobia.
Like gruesome, gory.
Like it's called this is like a body horror flick, right? And I wasn't
definitely.
like really like I wasn't knowledgeable in the subject of body horror, but after I watched this movie, I was like, okay, I get it now. I get what body horror like actually means.
Man, you got to be practical effects for that shit too, man.
Yeah.
I love that she the director did that. Coralie Fargeat.
I thought that was
fantastic,
a really cool thing.
Man. So good. And I just also every single time a movie can make you go like, oh my god, like every single time some sort of not goo but gore matter falls out of and it just hits the, and that happens like 5 times, and every single time it gets me every single time. And I was just like, oh my god, what is that? Is it alive? Burn it. Sorry, I need to calm down.
No, it was a pretty crazy movie, but I just got vibes from it. Like, obviously, I feel like Dennis Quaid was like, I don't know, the epitome of like what Hollywood is and like how they suck, and they kept showing the words, they're gonna love you, and it's like, they're gonna love you how you look right now, but the moment that you change that look and you don't look like that anymore, well, they're not going to love you so much anymore.
Well, that's exactly what Demi Moore's character is going through from like the very get-go of the movie.
Right?
Doesn't love herself, man.
I love how at the beginning of the movie it literally gives you like 30 years of exposition in like a minute and a half.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it going back to like your point of like saying like like she like her time literally starts and ends in the span of the first minute and a half of the movie. Like just like how the movie starts is like so perfect with like her Hollywood star being put in place and her being at like the height of her career, and then people being excited and wanting to take pictures at her star, and then people not really caring about her star, and it slowly cracks and you see all these like imperfections growing on it, and then it ends with someone just dropping their hamburger and fries on it, and like this ketchup is on it, and it's just like the guy's just like whatever, and he just like kicks it and walks away, right? And then cut to Demi Moore at her like Pilates morning show routine that even then she loses right away as the movie starts.
The actress Jane Fonda, I think that's her name, came up a lot. And how she like there's an actress, and then she became like a Pilates like instructor or something. That became like her thing.
Okay.
So I was just like seeing that like in my facts or whatever. I didn't add that fact though, but also I also thought I loved how in the beginning and end it starts with the star and then ends with the star.
Yes.
In the beginning it's ketchup. In the end it's a little bit not.
It's not ketchup.
It's not ketchup in the end, but I love how.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I like that.
I
too.
like how it came back, and like once she like was in her like happy place, like, then like she could finally just become goo.
Become goo
and become Ooze in Power Rangers.
Ooze. Or
what
Teenage
is Ooze
Mutant
made
Ninja
of?
Turtles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Secret of the Ooze or in Power Rangers, that's what Ivan Ooze is made out of.
Call me Ivan Ooze.
Ivan Ooze is made of
the substance goo.
The tarnished dreams of Demi Moore's character.
Yeah.
So
this is actually a Power Rangers origin story movie.
Just because we got a little off topic here,
did we?
I want to say this movie has there's a fucking 1990s movie with David Spade and Marlon Wayans, and it's called Sensless.
Okay.
And the shit he takes is green, just like the stuff in this, and you inject it just like the stuff in this.
This is the drug. How you take it is of the utmost importance. You must take exactly 6 cc's every single day, and you must inject it into the buttocks.
It heightens all of your senses. So it's kind of like the better you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's funny just how there was like just those little comparisons. I thought that maybe, the director, when she was a kid, she was a fan of that movie, just like
it's
me.
Like a throwback.
I highly doubt it. This is like a movie that wasn't huge. It's just like, amongst all the crappy 90 movies that came out, and I liked it because I saw it when I was like, 8 or 9. But it is by no means a good movie whatsoever.
I mean, there's plenty of references.
I
in
just
this
thought
movie.
it was. Yeah,
like,
I just thought it was.
Who
funny.
knows? Maybe it was.
It could
because
be, yeah.
like there's like a part in this movie where like there's like 8 fucking classic horror movie fucking references happening at the exact same fucking time. And it's insane. I was like listing them to Malcolm. He was like, "Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. I've seen it. I've seen it, Adam.
Malcolm, I've seen it.
I've seen it. You can stop now. I've seen it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good segue. Yeah, because there are a bunch of them in this movie. The ones that I caught were Carrie.
Yeah.
The Elephant Man.
Shining.
The Shining for sure. That
like
carpet,
there's like 30 Shining references in this movie. It's incredible. Like.
Did any
The
else
Fly
strike you guys?
The Fly, yeah.
Yeah, The Fly. Oh my god, yeah.
Anything Cronenberg for sure.
I think like I know like Frankenstein is like obvious, but I think the scene where she becomes the monstro Elisa Sue.
Yeah, Elisabeth.
As she's preparing herself in the bathroom, she has this like whimsical like innocence as she's like picking up the jewelry, and she's like, "Oh, what's this? I guess I'll put this like here."
Oh yeah, that's
and
so true.
That gave me some like super like Frankenstein's monster kind of like exploring reality, like learning what things are, and just this like grotesque innocence kind of vibe, right? Like she's like walking to the studio and she's like looking around at like the hallway and like just like this like in it this monster that like doesn't know it's like a monster, and like everyone is just like horrified of it, right?
And then like that's the classic Malcolm, like that's how you would analyze a reference, and then the way that I analyze the Frankenstein reference is the guy that says kill the monster.
For sure there's a bunch of references.
Pretty direct for me, you know. Like I didn't really think too deep in it. I was just like, hey, they say that and that.
Well, no, I think when you key in on the Shining reference, though, I feel like this movie like plays a lot on like things The Shining explored. Like when you think about it, so Jack Nicholson's character.
Don't get me started.
But like Jack, who is played by Jack Nicholson's character, struggles with alcoholism in The Shining, right?
Sure does.
And that's part of what kind of drives him mad because he doesn't have any alcohol, right? So now this movie is called The Substance.
Yes.
And Demi Moore's character Elizabeth Sparkle, or no, sorry, I guess her counterpart, her alter ego Sue, abuses the substance, right? And Demi Moore is trying to get rid of it, or like she quits the substance at a point in this movie.
Well,
temporarily before she is crawls back to it, much like how someone suffering from addiction would crawl back to their a substance abuse problem, right? So I thought
get away.
It was kind of an interesting dynamic because they did constantly reference The Shining.
Yeah.
How both main characters are kind of driven insane almost by their own addiction, right?
Of course. I honestly just like, I was like trying to count all of them, and it was just like the carpet, even though it's not the same, but the carpet, the bathroom walls, the walls of the friggin' hallway, when she's spewing out the blood out of her ripped off arm, that's like the elevator coming out of the blood thing.
Yeah,
like,
when she's walking down the hallway,
so many Shining fucking references in this movie, and I just like ate it all up. Like I loved it so much.
But it, like, I feel like it does.
I read the book, you know.
I feel like it does it in a manner that's like very. It's not like just doing it for the sake of doing it. It's like very intentional with a lot of these like references, and it like it does them for not for the sake of referencing the original or the what it is referencing, like The Shining or Frankenstein or Elephant Man, but to explore it in a different world, and that's the world of like Hollywood glamour and glitz and vanity and addiction to like fame and fortune and all of that.
Absolutely,
right? So,
it's all of it, man. Sin City, baby.
Yeah, that's another thing too that I liked, like how she shot it.
A lot of great shots,
like a lot of really good shots. But you know the shit when she's like dancing and stuff. Like it's shot so much differently than the rest of the movie and edited differently. It reminded me of like watching like a fucking music video or something like that.
Production quality went way up when Sue came in. They had a bigger budget, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it looks like they even fired like the whole crew too. Like it's got a whole new crew.
Isn't it crazy that this movie didn't get nominated for best cinematography?
Yeah,
it's a little crazy. Yeah,
I think
movie.
There's the thing against horror movies. I mean, I don't know anything. This is just from what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not a professional, but
I mean, yeah, that's what Christina was saying to me when
sounds like there's a bias and they don't like it.
When we first saw this movie, I was like blown away by it, and I was like, "This is insane!" Like the Academy has to recognize what's going on in this movie because of the commentary on Hollywood itself
100%
is like clever and insightful. But Christina said it right away. Then, they don't give a shit about horror movies though, and I mean. This movie was nominated for Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Director. Like those are like the big three. There's like the big 5 awards or whatever, right? And like those are 3 of the big 5.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It didn't win any of them. It only won Best Makeup and Hairstyling.
Yeah, makeup and hairstyling. See,
which like of course
I believed you.
Of course,
I know. I was right.
But like I was right. Screenplay, Best Actress for Demi Moore too. She's like so good in this movie. Like you guys were talking about how like Dennis Quaid is good in this movie.
Well, that's just because he's just so outlandishly crazy,
and he is good. But I feel like
Demi Moore is incredible though.
Dennis Quaid kind of has the easy performance though. You know?
Yes, he does. And like that, so
Margaret Qualley has an easy performance, kind of too. Like except for when that whole. Okay, you know what? You're right. Never mind. She's got some crazy shit going on.
I was gonna say she had some very.
I forgot about the ending. The ending should be its own fucking thing.
Yeah. No. I honestly like. I said like. I mean, I do like Dennis Quaid in this movie. I thought he really killed the role, but that's a good point. And I thought he was my favorite for the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets tired really fast.
And then, you go through the movie and all this shit happens and you're just like, okay, Demi Moore's kind of like stealing the show here. This is pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah, dude. I just feel so awful. Like, well, okay, you know what broke my heart was when she didn't go on the date. That one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt more than the broken, shattered ribs she had after friggin' Sue was done with her. But like, that felt so bad. I was just like, oh no.
I know.
No. She had like such a brief moment of like her,
happiness,
and then it just got fucking ripped away.
She looked at Sue.
I'm Sue.
She caught a glimpse of Sue and was reminded of how imperfect she was, right? And then she goes on to redo her makeup several times before just ultimately deciding like not to go out. So when we were watching that scene, you guys like made a comment about how she kind of looks like the Joker for a second, right?
Well, when she did the lipstick thing.
And I think that's like very much intentional in the fact of like they're trying to make her look like a clown because it's the director showing the audience the internal thoughts like she's having. She's like, how dare you try and go out, you ugly piece of shit. Look at you, right? Like it's a joke that you think anyone could love you, right? So like she's like, she thinks she is a clown, right? Like
you sound like the voice in my head.
Well, like I think that's another like this movie explores self-hatred at a level that I feel like is relatable to like every single human being on the planet.
100%. Yeah.
Like you could be the happiest person in the world and still struggle with like some aspect of self-hatred, and this movie kind of explores it on every level.
Oh
almost.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm feeling it still, so thank you. Thank you, Coralie.
I would agree. It also just like, I mean, again, just it struck me as, trying to tell you that just be comfortable in your own skin, like.
Oh yeah, dude, because the progression of like because when I first started watching this movie, it starts with her being, in the workout video or whatever, and I was just like, oh man, Demi Moore, like good for her, man. She's looking fucking great, dude. And then I guess obviously the movie is supposed to just like even that, just like no. But the worst part is how it continues to go down and see how bad it can get. And then every single time that she has a chance to get out, she like just doubles down and it gets even worse and worse. And you can't trust yourself. I guess that's another commentary.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also see now what you just said there, right? Like, I think that scene also just like represents, you just said like, oh, hey, look, Demi looking good, right? But if you would have seen Demi Moore and maybe, she had 100 more pounds on her or anything, you wouldn't have said that just because of like what Hollywood has projected, like what beauty is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would have been a terrible human being.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? I think that's the whole point of the movie.
It's because it's so brainwashed in you because that's what you're supposed to look like, right? That's exactly what you're supposed to look like.
And that's why she's
don't look like that,
That's why she's so upset about getting older because she's like, oh my God, like I'm never going to be as beautiful as I was before. But it's like, well, there's beauty in every age. Like, you know what I mean?
But I think the movie does a good job of like, establishing that she's like searching for the fountain of youth, right? She's trying to become young again too. But also the movie does a good job of kind of forcing her character into a corner. So I noticed every time when Demi Moore is Elisabeth and she like goes out in the world doesn't accept her. Like the first time she goes out into the world after becoming Sue, she runs into that biker dude who like yells at her for like no reason, right? And then even after that, afterwards, she runs into the guy who initially turned her on to the substance, who's like, who's like, oh, I wanted to follow you. I wanted to see how it was going. Like she's some sort of spectacle to be like enjoyed. Like she's like a animal in a zoo almost, right? Yeah. So it's like she's like, I can see why she feels like she doesn't have a choice. Like she can't go out into the world and just exist without someone like reminding her that like she isn't good enough almost, right?
It's interesting how you say like animal trapped in a zoo, because also funny as a commentary movie. Like you kind of sign up for that shit.
Going into Hollywood?
Yeah.
No, you're right.
So it's kind of funny how like she's all just like, I want it to be about me when it's convenient for me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that the dream for like everyone? You know,
No, that's it.
and it's so sad.
But that's exactly like another point of the movie too. She's addicted to the fame and the fortune and the glitz and the glamour.
Man.
So in the beginning of the movie, after she gets fired or let go or whatever, and she leaves the studio and she runs into Fred from Homeroom.
Fred,
Of course.
So he represents.
who's the prettiest girl in the world? It's still beautiful. Okay, even Fred said what I said. All right, I was just like, "Yo, Demi, looking great," and she was like, "Elisabeth, you know, you've seen it."
But like Fred represents like her unwanted past, her average life, the person she was before she became rich and famous, and that scene sums up how she feels about that life, not by her like rejecting him or even being mean to him, but he drops his phone number into the mud and picks it up from the mud and hands it to her, and it's covered in like mud and like wet, and like that's what that life represents to her. It's like she doesn't want to live in the mud with the common folk, right?
Yeah.
So that's why she goes on to do the substance and do everything. It's like such a perfect moment. It's like that's like the life she's being driven to. She just got let go from her job. She's not going to be famous anymore. She's not going to be a Hollywood celebrity. She's just going to be an average person with
Absolutely.
Fred.
Yep.
Can I
With
ask you-
Fred.
Let me ask you a question, and by you I mean both of you, not just one of you, and everybody at home too. And this is obviously going to be a stupid fucking question because everybody knows. But would you, given the circumstance, take the substance? I think that Malcolm would have pretty good discipline for that. But me, I would probably, I don't know, my other self might kill me like way quick.
Way quick.
What do you think, Malcolm? What do you think, Malcolm and Travis?
All right, I'll go first, and then you go, Trav. Okay.
Okay.
Like,
Go for it.
For me, because like it's an easy like. Okay, I'm 33, turning 34 or whatever.
Same
34,
these.
turning 35. I don't fucking know. I don't know how old I am.
I think you're 34, turning 35.
I think so. I don't care.
No, I'm 35. You're turning 34.
Anyway, my point is like I don't care about that stuff, and at this point in my life, of course, it's easy for me to say no. I wouldn't take the substance. But if I was 50 or
20
60
years
years
from now,
old,
no.
I can't tell you how I would feel at that point. You know.
What if you and your partner were just like, we're going to do it together? And we're going to be
Whoa.
each other's, like, to make sure that we're on top of each other's shit. And then we're going to have 1 week where we're, you know, young and doing this shit, 1 week where we're old.
Nah, no way. I definitely wouldn't want to do that. You saw how it went in the fucking movie.
Okay, because she doesn't have any discipline, bro. Like,
Dude, but it's not about discipline. We just talked about how she's
1 week,
almost
1 week, 1 week, 1 week.
But she's like not given a choice because every time she's like Elizabeth Sparkle, the world rejects her, and every time she's Sue, she gets everything she wants.
Develop a Twitch channel, hang out in your house for a week, make money that way. Hey, it's Elizabeth Sparkle. I'm doing Twitch now. Blah blah blah. And then every time go back to there are ways.
It's not the same though.
There are ways.
It's not the same.
Okay, well,
You're
let me
up,
pipe
Trav.
in here. You guys aren't really going for the right thing, too, right? Because it's not an older or younger version of yourself.
The better
it's a
version.
better version of
Yeah,
yourself.
true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
very
they say.
true.
That's what they
So-
say.
How can you think so vainly, Malcolm?
I'm already
What
the
is
best
wrong
version
with
of
you?
myself.
Oh my god. That's great.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't do it because the better version of yourself is always gonna I'm sorry, but this is another thing though. This movie hit me with was greed. Just greed is such a
green with envy. Oh no, it's envy.
Yeah, green.
Whoa,
with
isn't
envy, yeah.
greed green too?
Green with greed. Catchy, but I don't think that's what it
Catchy,
is.
but I don't think it's gonna stick.
We're not doing this again. Green with greed v.
Yeah, no, honestly, greed is such a, unfortunately, a natural fucking thing for humans, and I honestly think that the better version of yourself is always just going to get greedy and just want to be in the spotlight all the time because they're the better version of yourself. So,
you're
and
already
the same
assuming-
thing is always going to happen. Like, they're going to, I mean, with, Demi, it was her trying to get at her with, eating more and all that stuff. But you're, even if you're not trying to get back at your other self, your better self is going to see what you did, and they're just going to be like, yeah, well, what I'm doing is so much better. So why would I you know what I mean? So I just feel I would never do it just because I feel like your better self is always going to get greedy
I don't think
I
she
get it.
was
and
eating
fuck you over.
to
Yeah.
get back
Yeah.
at her better self, though. I think she was just eating because she was sad. I think it
Stress
was
eating.
all she it was that's what when people suffer from depression and
Yeah, and I
are
get
going
that.
through that. It's the only form of enjoyment they can get is eating food, fast food, greasy, ultra delicious, super salty food. It hits the dopamine center of your brain, and then that's the only way you can learn how to be happy, because every other time you're just thinking about how fucking ugly and old you are.
Absolutely, yeah.
So like I don't think she was necessarily doing it to get back, because she's only hurting herself at that point too, right? And I think self-abuse is actually a big thing in this movie, because she's like smacking herself in the head when she keeps on referring to
so
Sue,
sad.
right? And then it's like, no, Sue is me. I am Sue. But like she struggles.
You got to get it through your head that you're the same person. You never were separate.
Yeah, exactly, right?
How
it's
come-
it's like anytime, I don't know, it's like we've all been there when you're like frustrated and you do something that you've done before and you're just like, fuck, why did I do that again?
You're
Like,
so mad at past Adam so often.
but it's
So
like you
often.
are past Adam though, you know?
Well, that was past Adam just then. See what I'm saying? How come nobody asked me if I would do the substance?
Well, I thought you were gonna. I thought you would go.
Yeah, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
Oh, okay. Well,
All right,
would
well,
you do
would
the
you do the
substance,
I'm
Adam?
so glad you guys. I've been waiting for you guys to ask me that. So the truth is actually that I already did do the substance.
Oh, and your other version's laying in your bathroom right now.
Yeah, but what other version is it?
Oh,
I think
know
it's
what
the
I
best
mean?
version of you that's sitting in your bathroom right
Damn
now.
it. I was like, well, actually, the thing is, what if I like triple down or quadruple down like she did?
Oh, but
And but I didn't beat the shit out of original Adam that bad. So I'm like maybe 2 down. And
so
there's some monsters lurking in my in my basement. Let me tell you, my cat's going
damn.
nuts right now.
oh man.
Thanks for asking, guys. Man,
I was a little surprised that. So it was. I mean, it was an $18 million budget, which is actually incredible for how beautiful
Indie
and
movie.
all the shit it has in it. But yeah, only it's pretty good though. I mean, 82 million. But I would have thought like Demi Moore, she's a pretty big name. I thought it would have brought in like at least over 100 million.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, the end part alone should have brought
Oscar
in
up for an Oscar too.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, well, the Oscar buzz is pretty recent, so I mean, it's not. It came out. I think when I saw it, it was like last fall. I know Anora has gotten another like theater run.
Okay.
Since it won Best Picture.
Oh yeah,
So-
it definitely will. Yeah.
But like, yeah, The Substance didn't really win anything. It just won makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah.
so
it was
it's not-
nominated for
But
a
it was
bunch
up
of shit.
for like Oscars.
Yeah, I
though,
know,
right?
but like a bunch of movies are not. Like A Real Pain was nominated for Best Oscar, and like,
Yeah.
you don't hear anything about that. Like no one cares about nominations so much as people mostly care about who won.
Did
at the
Demi
end
get
of it.
a SAG award though?
Yeah, she got SAG. Yeah, she
definitely
won
got
SAG
yeah.
for Best Actress.
Fuck yeah, good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That should, Screen Actors Guild should be the big one, and then Oscars should be, you know.
Yeah, well, there's like Screen Actors Guild, and then there's cons too.
What's the
and,
TV one?
The Emmys.
Emmys?
Yeah, I think
Let's do
that's-
that one. Let's do that one first, and then once this becomes an actual show, like we get picked up by like Sirius Satellite or like ESPN or something like. Well, not ESPN. I don't think we have any much sports commentary except for your wide selection of sports fucking attire and shit like that. But
of crappy sports teams.
whoa,
Hey,
listen,
now.
man, I'm a Jets fan. Everybody knows that.
Patriots.
I know a thing or two about how. Yeah, you're a Patriots fan. What are you talking about? But
We
he's
had
got
our
legacy.
time.
I have
Legacy.
jack shit. He has first round defeats in
Here we go.
playoffs. He has 10, 20 years that was crazy. What have the Jets done lately except be
They're
the Jets.
they're famous for being very bad.
That's my analysis on football. ESPN sponsor
There
us.
you go. That's our
Walmart
pitch.
sponsor us. Nah, Substance just it's a doozy. It's a doozy.
$80 million. Like, I mean, so we were talking about Mickey 17 on Free Talk Friday a while back, and I was actually reading how that movie has been successful but is going to lose money.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like it's just like they put, I think it was like $150 million, $175 million budget, and then another $150 million like for marketing after the fact.
Okay.
And it's like, I think like 125 mil right now,
Jeez.
or they're expecting it to hit 125 mil. So then, kind of going back to another discussion we had on Free Talk Friday, no one's going to the movie theater, and
No.
movie theaters
Yeah.
are just doing remakes because guess what? Remakes are the only thing that's making any money, and
It's
people are
true.
going to see. As much as cool as The Substance is, no one's going to see it.
Cash grab. But Honora's, new too.
Honora's news. Honora's an independent movie,
New too. So it
May-
kind of goes both freaking. But it's a horror movie. I'm telling you, don't like horror movies.
I mean,
that's
the
We
Something.
just watched a horror movie and you liked it.
I said they,
they.
the higher
I thought you
powers that
said-
be.
Sorry, my bad.
I like horror movies. I like horror movies just fine.
I just like it.
And like
no broken bones in this movie, guys. This has got Adam two thumbs up from Adam.
But like this movie is like a hard watch too,
Yeah.
right? Like this movie is not for
yeah.
everyone.
No, definitely. Well, 2 thumbs up doesn't mean for everyone. It just
I wonder how
means
many
no
people
broken
walked
bone.
out of the theater.
I mean, it's such a shame though, because like I feel like there's like so much going on in this movie. Like this movie is like so much more than just like body horror spectacle. It's like commentary. It's like an exploration. Yeah. It's a commentary on society, commentary on like imagery. It's just, I think it's like awesome. It's got a lot going on.
It gets pretty wacky at times too.
Dude, I love how like psychedelic it gets
when the producers are just dancing around too. Like
it's like you're questioning like what's actually real.
Dreaming? Yeah,
like because the movie does that to you like two times earlier.
I also like how they like peppered comedy throughout the whole thing too.
Yeah.
Kept it kind of well.
I think you need that when a movie is this crazy.
Sure.
Yeah, it gets pretty out there, man.
Yeah.
Another movie I was gonna say that it referred to I think it's called Brain Dead, but it's known as like the most goriest movie like to ever be made.
Okay.
And when I saw the end with like all the blood and everything like hitting the audience and everybody's just like covered in like it just gave me those vibes. Sorry to interrupt. Another add that to the list of movies that are being
references.
Yeah,
and
sorry.
Phobias.
And phobias. Yeah. You ever like scared of being in the audience and getting blood just completely somebody else's blood completely all over you?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, go to a Guar concert and it happens.
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool.
Rock and roll, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought. This movie explored 2 archetypes that I thought were really interesting, and it didn't do it across the entire movie, but there are specific sequences that did it. So Elisabeth and Sue have a sort of mother-daughter dynamic at one point in the movie.
Definitely.
And it's when Elisabeth is like at home, like cooking everything, and Sue is like on TV, like she's actually like lying dead in the bathroom or whatever. But it's a recorded interview, and she's like making all these like comments about like where Sue gets all of her youth and beauty from, and like she like disrobes in front of the TV and like shakes her body like he's saying like this is your secret, and it just like really kind of reminded me, it's like eerily familiar to like what a mom puts her own body through, like being pregnant,
like
giving birth,
like
breastfeeding, like all of that kind of like
definitely, man.
Stuff. And then like you put all your hope in your daughter or your offspring or whatever, and you want them to grow, and you're kind of like sacrificing your own life for them to have a life, which is like essentially what she's doing in the movie, albeit not voluntarily so much, right?
It would have really helped if we like had somebody who had a child on this episode for some proper
for full exploration
on that. But I mean, yeah, dude. We're all children. We know what our parents have done for us when we were born and stuff. And
well, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I often was reminded about it. That's for sure. Growing up,
and she like doesn't even acknowledge her or anything like that.
So rude,
yeah, she just
dude.
brushes her off like
ruthless, dude.
She makes like a joke about it, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't even, I grew up with her whether I wanted to or not, like, kind of thing, which was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but then
you don't know where you're from. You know where you came from, Sue. You know where you fucking came from. How dare you, Demi? So sad.
That scene was also like another like super flex of Demi Moore's acting ability.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
Oh, I love when she was mocking her. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so sick. I love it.
Good.
Yeah, dude. And like I'll talk about it in my comments. I'll talk about it in my facts, actually.
Well, just like one more thing I wanted to explore. So they did the mother-daughter dynamic, and then so they also it did like kind of a fairy tale dynamic too. You guys made the comment about how she looks like a witch in like 100%. Parts of the movie.
Oh yeah.
And often,
and look what she brewed.
Well, in fairy tales, it's like the witch speaks to the cost of magic, right? The witch is like capable of performing these magical spells and brewing these potions that can do amazing things, but at the cost of like her own vitality and her own life, right? So like Elisabeth, Demi Moore plays essentially the witch and the princess in this movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the princess who sells her soul to like in fairy tales, it's like they sell their soul to like get a kingdom or a prince or whatever, right? Like the prince, or no, that's the prince that turns into a frog, right? The prince wants to find love, and then the witch turns him into a frog for as a commentary on his own vanity, right? So like Demi Moore was the princess who wanted something, and then she becomes the witch who gives it to her.
Give it to him.
but like at the cost of her own vitality. I thought it was a cool way to explore the archetype in one character, right?
You ever notice how like 9 witches out of 10, whenever they're plotting shit or doing shit, it's always like to get younger again?
Yeah.
Like 9 witches out of 10, there'll be that one witch that's just kind of like just into eating kids and shit. Like that's, you know, they don't really hang out. She doesn't come to the union meetings and shit. But like 9 times out of 10, if a witches are up to shit, it's because they're trying to figure out a way to get younger again.
Yeah.
Because they sold their soul, I guess, to
restore their beauty.
That's the one thing, you know. You can't have it all. That's the moral of this whole movie. You can't always get. Well, you can't always get what you want, but you can't have both, right?
Yeah. There you
can't
go.
have your cake and have sex with it too, as I always say. We ready for our facts or what?
Yeah, I guess that's a good segue.
One last thing.
I don't want
one last quick thing. The sound design is incredible in this movie.
Oh my god!
So
man,
good.
That's half the reason why you're like,
Yeah.
You couldn't escape it too, because like I can turn around, but like that sound just. That one part with the knee, that part I had to turn around for.
Yeah.
That part was a little bit much.
I knew as that was coming on, I heard the creaking and the cracking. I was like, Adam's gone here.
Yeah, well, I was like, I saw the knee and I was like, oh man, she's a little stiff. And then right when I saw that she couldn't get the knee up, I was just like, yeah, time to get up and go to the window over there. And then it took so long for her to get it out. Like, it took so long, and I was like, come on,
get it out.
And the thing is, I'm not even like I was like kind of like tough and shit. I was like, oh, needles or whatever. And I still don't have a phobia of needles, but like I might have a phobia of a needle constantly going in the exact same hole over and over and over, and then that hole eventually getting somewhat infected, and then the greens and the yellows and the browns and all the sound effects and the pus and all of it. Maybe I'm not too into that. Another thing, not to rant on this shit, but like another thing that I hate, beautifully how it's done in the movie, but I just hate the mouth close-ups. I fucking hate it when movies do that. And this movie kept doing it because Margaret Qualley's got like a beautiful set of lips and Demi Moore's got a beautiful set of lips. I get it. But like...
But no, it's just finding new and interesting ways to make people feel uncomfortable with like just normal parts of their body, right?
Yeah, it's really nice when you fucking learn you have new phobias, when you have your life in order. It's great to fucking have that little wrench in your shit. So thank you.
Just one last thing about the sound design. Earlier in the movie, like Trav was like, "Oh, the envelope even has dubstep." But
that was so good, yeah.
But like the dubstep like signifies like it's like the sound of the cells warping and mutating, right? It's so it's so perfect.
Everything is like, commentary in this fucking movie.
It's just like you know what the music and the sound is signifying. What the wow. It's like the mutation, the cells multiplying and becoming this Cronenbergian monster eventually. Oh, it's like such a
super
foreshadow.
Cronenberg. Right when I saw that quick like look of what she looked like, I was just like, oh yeah, that's some Cronenberg ass shit right there. That's some Cronenberg ass shit right there. And I also really like how well funded this secret underground thing is, because everything is sterile, everything is vacuum sealed. The instructions are. They're so funded that they can have individual cards for each of the number instruction. One card, do this. 2, do this. You know, like, and it's so simple too. And then when we were watching it, I was just like, I'm lost. Yeah. So you put in the thing there, and you put in there, and what's going on here? So
you couldn't even use the substance because you couldn't figure it out.
I would have like accidentally like
fuck something up.
Yeah, like I would have been like brought out my worst self. Which is what actually did happen. So you don't know which one is actually in my house with my cat right now.
All right, well, I'll roll your segment and we'll get to your fun facts.
We interrupt our program. Bring you this important message.
All right, so we're still working on our big projector screen over there. Budget's a little bit tight here, so we're just I'm gonna be looking down there for my facts and stuff, but pretty decent facts for this one. I didn't try and get too many, but they're all just fantastic. So starting off, Margaret Qualley revealed in interview that the breasts in the film are not her own, but they're in fact prosthetics designed by French makeup artist Pierre-Olivier Persin, and I just wanted to get that one out there. Real quick, right before we got there. Not real. They were not real tits. But beautiful work, though. Gotta wake up pretty early in the morning to fool Adam.
That was amazing.
So, Demi Moore said that she was very nervous about shooting full frontal nudity at 59 years old. She felt very vulnerable. However, she credited Margaret Qualley for making her feel way more comfortable on set, because Margaret Qualley also, as you know, kind of went a little full frontal nudity there too, which I think is beautiful, by the way. Also, quick fact, Margaret Qualley's mother, Angie McDowell, co-starred with Demi Moore in 1985's St. Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo's?
Fire.
Is that like a Sesame Street thing?
It's St. Elmo's Fire is a movie. I forget who directed it, but she was in it with, Margaret Qualley's mother was in it with Demi Moore as well.
Nice.
Real fact. Demi Moore also said that the script reminded her of when she did Ghost with our boy Patrick Swayze Express. I wrote that down. It's Swayze Express, where the film could be either a success or a complete disaster. We can't deny her commitment, because she stated in an interview that for the full mirror sequence, she did at least 15 takes for each scene, and her face was completely raw by the end of it. So you cannot deny that she wanted it. Okay, let's talk about this incredible writer-director for a second, Coralie Fargeat. Coralie Fargeat. Coraline's a great movie, guys. So she filmed the whole thing in France, alternating between a studio in Paris and locations on the French Riviera. This is her second movie, but she put a lot of work into this particular vision. It's her first American feature film. She used her own arm for the shots showing the substance needle going in.
Oh, wow.
So, frick, you know. I mean, I don't think it was a real needle, but still. And also, straight out of Steven Spielberg's shit from Saving Private Ryan, she operated the camera for POV shots sometimes, playing the character's body in the scene by wearing the appropriate costumes and mirror shots.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
That's cool as all hell. Also, this was going to be my favorite fact, but Dennis Quaid. So she also had 146 pages of script. She obviously dedicated 29, or obviously, I don't know why I said that. She only dedicated 29 of those pages to dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
She described her writing style as if she were writing a novel. She wrote the script in extensive detail. For every sensory experience the audience would feel, she would write words like sploosh and like, you know, things like that.
So she was.
I'm really good at that because I fucking have a lisp, but.
So she was even working on like sound design, like in the script level, right? That's crazy that it didn't even get a sound design Oscar nom either. Fuck.
She even specified close-ups in the script. She like wrote the script like it was like
a storyboard.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, dude. She's great. So a little bit of numbers here. So this is the 7th horror film to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. First 6 films were The Exorcist, Jaws, Silence of the Lambs, The Sixth Sense, Black Swan, and Get Out. Only one. Which one?
Black Swan.
No.
The Exorcist.
No.
Oh no. What was the list again?
The list was The Exorcist, Jaws, Silence of the Lambs, The Sixth Sense, Black Swan, and Get Out.
Oh, it wasn't The Exorcist, really?
Nope.
Jaws?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know.
Sixth Sense.
No.
You can't just keep guessing. You're gonna guess all of them. Tell us.
Silence of the Lambs.
Wow, that's cool.
I mean, that movie is pretty.
Yeah.
That movie took a lot out of me too. Even though it didn't win Best Picture, though, it is in fact the 6th horror film to win Best Makeup and Hairstyling. The other 5 being American Werewolf in London, The Fly, Beetlejuice, Dracula, and 2010's The Wolfman.
Nice.
And while it didn't win the Oscar, unfortunately, it did get an 11-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival.
Nice.
Which apparently I think might be a record. Hold on. Adam, pause here. What do you do if you're getting an 11-minute standing ovation? Do you just stand there and just like...
You probably just bow a whole bunch.
For 11 minutes? Because I saw when... who is the main star in The Whale? I'm really bad with names.
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser had like a crazy long thing, and it made him cry, and it was beautiful. But like after like 7 minutes, you're probably just like... you know, just like, are we still clapping for this shit? Like,
no, I mean like for Brendan Fraser especially.
That movie was, from what I've seen, it's incredible. I really want to watch it.
That movie was, oh man, like another Malcolm Cryer.
I got you.
I haven't seen that yet.
I saw bits and
crazy.
pieces. I had to turn it off because I'm like, I have to watch this whole movie because I know I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
it's not gonna work
for sure.
So this is also, let's get into him. Let's get into a little Dennis Quaid here. So. Ray Liotta was originally supposed to play Dennis Quaid's character.
Wow.
That was like kind of like the big fact that I was just like, oh, Ray Liotta's a legend, man. So he was originally cast in the film in February 22, but unfortunately passed away in May of that year before he was able to film his scenes. Dennis Quaid replaced him, but Ray Liotta's name is still mentioned in the director's thank you notes during the credits.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, and the entire time, I did do that fact before I watched it. The whole entire time, I was like, Ray Liotta 100% could have played this fucking role. And apparently, and no disrespect to Demi Moore, but I don't think Dennis Quaid wasn't the first choice. I don't think Demi Moore was the first choice either. But once Demi Moore fell in, everything just kind of worked out too. It's a very vulnerable, fucking hard role to ask somebody to play.
For sure.
You know? Dennis Quaid's character Harvey is named after disgraced producer and shithead Harvey Weinstein. And my favorite fact that I like to say for the end, Dennis Quaid was apparently so committed to making my favorite scene in the movie, the shrimp scene, as gross as possible that he ate close to 4 pounds of shrimp.
Oh my God.
Dennis Quaid, you are our hero. Way to be the biggest piece of shit in this movie.
He's also never eating shrimp again, probably.
No, I think that's it. That's like Johnny with tuna. That's like me with Big Macs. It's over. But that's Adam's fun facts, people. Thanks for tuning in. Back to who's the host of this one? Malcolm or Travis? Back to you. Travis.
Well, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, you should probably press that subscribe button.
Click.
And if you're listening on Spotify, you should press that follow button. And you should also check Adam out on our Instagrams, TikTok.
I'm Adam.
He's doing all sorts of fun things.
I like to do fun things.
Posting all our videos, and he wants to hear from you. We will comment back on anything you guys give us.
Absolutely.
And again, like I said every time, we would love to hear from you. Tell us what movies you'd like to hear us do and cover, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
And always remember that you should love the skin that you're in. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but I don't even know if that's it. But love the skin you're in, man. And that is, I just had to say that.
That was PSA.
Yeah, PSA. Love the skin you're in. Maybe it's Maybelline. Sponsor us.
Also, you guys didn't notice I got a haircut.
I did not.
Oh,
no.
see, because I don't want to be vain. I was just too busy looking at your beautiful smile, but that is a nice haircut.
He was looking good, though.
There you go.
Also, we have a show that comes out on Friday. It's called Free Talk Friday. You should go check that out as well.
100%.
Hosted by that sexy guy with the haircut. Yo, did you know that he got a haircut?
I got a haircut.
Yo, Travis, you got a haircut.
I watched a movie with these guys. I filmed a podcast with these guys. No idea I had a haircut.
That only works with female haircuts for me. It's got to be longer than here for me to notice.
All right, peace out, everybody.
Later.